And we're live streaming from Edmonton, I guess. Yeah,
you are.
I'm in Edmonton. All the guys are from Saskatchewan. Well, that's the whole concept, right? So, thank you very much for coming us today, Max. Here, hope you're doing fantastic. Today is December 17, and I'm very happy to have you guys here. The folks from the Saskatchewan Prosperity Project was those guys have been busy a lot with the town halls and everything. So when I touched base with the CEO Brad Williams, I was like, oh, that's going to be good to meet with them, have a live stream as well. We also have the same time we have the folks from Prairie Rising Forum, which is a group that I recorded an event in Regina almost 2 months by the day, isn't it?
Yeah, October.
Yeah, that's why I made Dave and Troy. I think I've seen him once, isn't it?
Yeah, I met you at the forum.
Oh, yeah, that's good. You see people. So that was a great conference. And during that conference, we have some people from SPP who had a stand over there in Regina.
Yeah, it was really good to see him there and to set up a booth at the event. That's where I think I first met you guys.
Yes, that's where I met everybody as well.
No, that was quite refreshing. I like that idea. Like the conference was good talks, and that was a lot of talks and good speakers as well in that event as well. So the topic of discussion is that we have, because most of the audience here, well, at least for Freedom Canada, are watching the live stream from Alberta, and we guys are asking, hey, what's happening in Saskatchewan? So a lot of the questions that I have here are regards to from a Alberta perspective sort of things, and also because I know that a lot of people from Saskatchewan are also watching the show as well. So that's going to be very interesting to see how it's going to come out from this interview. So I'd like to thank you for being with us today. It's going to be a good interview as well. So question is for Mr. Brad, who's for Brad, who's the CEO of the Saskatchewan Prosperity Project. Can you just give us a, just give us an overview of how SPP started in regards to the other groups as well. How they started, what actually pushed you to motivate into this group and to doing what you're doing. So it's yours.
Saskatchewan Prosperity Project was started probably about 5 months ago by a few people who wanted to get this rolling. I became involved about 2 months ago, right around the time of the Prairie Rising Forum. I actually met a few of the people that were wanting to start this group. And I really liked that they were so closely affiliated with APP. And we had the full backing, which means that we can pretty much use any of the information from their website and any of your experience. Because, of course, when you're doing what they've done in the last 5 years, they have a lot of growing pains, a lot of experience. So they've really been extremely helpful, and we're so forever grateful to them for the support that they've given and the advice. And we're trying to catch up real fast because they've got a 5-year jump on us, and we need to catch up as fast as we can here in the province of Saskatchewan.
Interesting. So you're trying to basically, so from my understanding, you're trying to do what we're doing here in Alberta, while having basically Alberta giving the lead into that. You're trying to replicate that as well too, which is I think it's a fair assessment as well too. And that's why I met your guys. I was at the Prairie Rising meeting in Regina, and that's how I met you guys. Oh, that's good. We have some people from Tompkins, people from Rockandville, Rosetown, Saskatoon on the live stream. That's awesome. That's very good. And one of my friends from Edmonton. That's good. I started to see that on the show. Another question for Troy and Dave. You are the Prairie Rising folks. Just kind of just presenting your group, what you guys are doing, what keeps you. Just give an overview of what you guys are doing as a group, and what's your objective with this group down there.
Well, the Prairie Rising group, we actually were associated with each other for a couple of years now, but the Prairie Rising concept started back in April, May, I believe, and by June, that's when we got our Facebook. I think it's June 23rd is when we established our Facebook page, and shortly after that, we had our website up. So from them, our team has been working hard to build the Prairie Rising Forum, which was held on October 18th. A lot of hard work lining up those great speakers that we had there. It was a huge success. And again, happy to see Saskatchewan Prosperity Project take part with their booth.
And also to remind that Mitchell Verster, the CEO of APP, was also there. He gave like a 15-minute speech as well to explaining what's happening.
It was great to see him there. That was the first time I met him. But since the forum, we've been working on a plan to address some of the deficiencies with the Saskatchewan government legislation regarding the process of petitions or referendums. That's what's really different between Alberta and Saskatchewan.
And we're going to touch base on that as well. Troy, I think you wanted to talk. Go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing with Dave. Yeah, we're just, the Prairie Rising Forum is just trying to figure out the legal pathway and help with that and partner with SPPs, and let's get this ball rolling.
Oh, interesting. So you're essentially assisting SPP into doing the legal framework to work with the independence train in Saskatchewan. Is that right?
Well, yeah, it's actually quite the team effort. SPP and Prairie Rising, our two groups had a Zoom meeting together, and that was very beneficial. We were able to align what our objectives were, and where SPP had their goal on educating the public and doing a lot of these town halls, whereas Prairie Rising was looking at, okay, we want to help get these people and give them the tools to be able to hold a petition or a referendum, which is not in place right now. So the two of us working together, I guess, like one big Reese's peanut butter cup. You know, chocolate and peanut butter works well together.
Yeah, it's been a very good working relationship. Thoroughly in love with working with the people from Prairie Rising. They're working on that legal pathway, and we're going to build chapters up in the town with the town halls and get all the groups built up. So when they need to have the signatures and they need that support, we'll hopefully have everything that they need ready for them at their fingertips.
Yeah, and this is something that we spoke on the phone. I spoke with Brad. Is this concept that you want to, because Brad is essentially doing, from my understanding, all the heavy lifting when it comes to the town halls and everything. You were going across the province for a couple of months, pretty much what Mitch Sylvester is doing. But my understanding is that you want to kind of replicate your work in such a way that other people can do their own town hall meetings, like local chapters and such, in such a way that local chapters can relay the message in a more effective manner, and you can do other stuff. Is that right?
Well, I've only been with the SPP active for about maybe 6 weeks, and I spent 3 weeks on the road. Doing 9 town halls. I think I did 4 in one of the weeks. It was just to get a feel for what's out there and kind of get understanding how that looks, and then what our needs are past that point. Because when you have people signing up, you need to be able to make sure that those chapters keep going. And right now, because I have done a lot of the groundwork myself, right now I'm assembling the team around me that will take over a lot of those extra responsibilities, do those follow-ups, because that's something that we haven't done yet. But we will be reaching out to everybody that attended and wanted to volunteer, and we'll be going full tilt. And once we hit January, we're going to be doing a lot of town halls.
A lot.
I have other people coming on that are going to be giving the presentation, so I don't have to be everywhere. I'm basically duplicating myself now. We kind of have it down to a science, and Prairie Rising, whenever they can attend, they'll be there. If not, we'll make sure we have their information that we can also share at that time.
Interesting. And it's good you mentioned that, because at least here in Alberta, how the town halls seem to go is that we have basically APP's got the major ones, got Mitch Sylvester, Dennis Modry, Jeff Rapp, sometimes Chris Scott. If he listens, that's fine. And then you have other and then you have other people who are not necessarily the main ones, but eventually they ended up creating their own independence content. So, like people from Kathy Flat, she is fantastic. We got people like Michael Wagner, who is very well read on the independent stuff from a historical perspective. So I think that what I think is going to happen along the way is that you're going to see a lot of those, I would say, creators, if you will, that are going to come to town hall meetings to kind of supplement that as well. That could be also another strategy as well too. Another question that I have, and this is something that is typical for the Alberta people here, because as I mentioned, this live stream is for the people who are not necessarily in Saskatchewan. I have a lot of people in Alberta watching this show. One of the things that kind of struck me is that there were other groups who were doing this independent stuff. Or how does it work? How does the dynamic work in Saskatchewan? Because from here in Alberta, APP was doing the heavy lifting from top to bottom. Are there other groups that were doing this kind of work or not? Can you expand if you can?
Well, Unified Grassroots had started doing some town halls, and their leader, the Dean Ness, decided to step down and spend some more quality time with her family, as I understand. And then the board that took over after that, I don't, I think they were kind of waiting to see where they're going to go forward. Meanwhile, we came along and hit the ground running and found out about Prairie Rising's objectives, and we hooked up, and we're trying to get Unified Grassroots to also join in and serve a function. At this time, we don't know exactly what that's going to look like, but they're definitely on board, and we're all working together.
Okay, yeah, exactly. They just have from my understanding, the way you described the Unified Grassroots, and if Nadine watches, you should say hi. It's more like their role is still there. They're like not as active as much. Am I right?
As far as at the moment, that's what it is. If that's going to change, I don't know. I'm still waiting to hear back from the board exactly what direction they want to go. For us, it's not going to change our direction. We're not waiting for anyone. We're going to go and get this done. We need to get this done.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, because they were collecting the signatures for a while, isn't it?
Yeah, well, they had the idea that they're going to be able to do a petition to force a plebiscite, but those options are not quite as clear as what they first thought. And that's where Prairie Rising comes in, because they're the experts on that whole legal pathway and the things that we need to accomplish to be able to get to that point of having hopefully a referendum vote, just like Alberta has. We are the only province in all of Canada that does not have a referendum pathway.
Really?
Yes.
Even with the Clarity Act, and that's one of the questions here. I have a question about the legal framework as well. But you mentioned that Saskatchewan is different from Alberta or other provinces in that aspect.
Dave,
Yes.
you can answer that, Troy.
Yeah, Alberta has it's engraved now. They have a pathway. Danielle Smith has even opened it up to make it easier to pass a referendum in Alberta. In Saskatchewan, we don't have that path. We can't even really pass a plebiscite. They don't have the framework in place. It's got to be laid out in the legislature. Okay, you have so many days to do this, so many days to do this part, and we're missing a lot of that. So it's we have to continually pressure the government and get the ball rolling on that. What was it, 2019, I believe it was, Sask Elections provided the Saskatchewan government with a list of things that they should change to make it so that we could have a binding referendum, or that we could actually petition the government. And the government hasn't acted on that. And in fact, they just released it again in 2024, and the government still hasn't addressed it.
So is this something that's been blocked by the Saskatchewan party, or is it something that's been blocked at the legislative level?
Blocked is a pretty firm word, and a lot of people would agree with that. But we could just say maybe they lost it. I don't know.
They ignored it.
Yeah.
That's what they did.
Could be that as well too. So
and then you take a look at the NDP and Carla Beck and her strong words that she doesn't want people like our organizations to step forward and request a referendum on independence. She's trying to, on her Facebook page, she says, "Yeah, I'm here to listen to everybody," but yet she turns around and says, "No, you can't say that."
So basically, Carla Beck, for those who are not in Saskatchewan, primarily in Alberta, it's basically she's the leader of the Saskatchewan NDP.
Right.
FY. And I believe that she even tabled some legislation to prevent or make it illegal for Saskatchewan to leave, or something to that effect. Is it right?
Yeah, it was something to that effect. Now, it didn't pass.
Oh,
Well, Scott Moe, he was quite happy with the way things are because he knows we don't have an avenue to follow. So he's quite happy not passing that legislation. So yeah, that's where we are. We know we've got the NDP who doesn't want us to speak up at all, and we've got the Saskatchewan Party who hasn't read or hasn't adhered to the recommendations of the Sask elections.
I see.
Yeah,
So
that
it's almost like you fell under the rock, basically.
Yeah.
Yep. Mr. Moe has said that he would support Saskatchewan people if they wanted to, to pursue independence, that he wouldn't stand in our way. However, actions speak louder than words, and if he's aware of that legislation needing to be in place, I really am kind of curious now why he's not taking action on that. And then when you get to somebody like Carla Beck doing a news release on this past Friday, calling on Scott Moe to squash, what like these independent separatists, which we're not separatists, we're independents, and we're looking to be our own nation. We're not looking to separate from Canada. We want out completely. We want Canada right out of Saskatchewan. So, for her to be calling us out as being wanting to break up Canada and dividing people, I'm sorry, Carla, but you've done the dividing over the last however many years, and we're actually uniting people. We want everybody in this province. We don't care if you're left, right, center. That's irrelevant. This is a nonpartisan issue. This is our whole future of our children are at stake here. If we keep down this path with Canada controlling everything we do, this province is going to be bankrupt with the rest of Canada as soon as within a year. I would be my guess. It's not looking good, and we have beautiful lifeboats in Saskatchewan, Alberta, where we can literally throw those out and jump in. We have all the resources that we need. We're both paying way more to Ottawa than what we're getting back. We keep that money at home. We can use that for our own healthcare and for our children and for education, and we can give more money to the old age security. There's so many things that we can do with that money.
And this is funny because I remember when I met Nadine in Saskatoon in May, I ended up recording the event from Saskatoon. And at some point of time, she called me because there was some shenanigans happening with the Saskatchewan NDP that were very pretty much trying to change the narrative. And yeah, so if you think that Alberta's NDP is a bad thing, Saskatchewan NDP is something completely out in another breed, for what I heard. So,
when you have these people that we elect, we put them in their positions. They actually work for us. They are not our masters. And I don't know who she thinks she is, that she can tell the Saskatchewan people that, we're going to make it harder for you to actually have your voices heard. Like, what kind of a leader does that? This is a democracy still, last I checked, and we have freedom of speech. Maybe she needs to be reminded of who pays her wage, because she works for us. We don't work for her.
Totally. Absolutely 100% right. Absolutely 100% right. So basically, the legal framework within Saskatchewan is very different from the legal framework within versus Alberta, what they have. Is that something that can be tabled as future legislation, something like the equivalent of Bill 14, what they have in Alberta, but in Saskatchewan at the legislative level? Or is this something that is this legislation that, as we kind of said here, fell under the rug? Is that what you're talking about here?
Well, in Saskatchewan right now, we don't have any legal mechanism for citizen-initiated referendums. Although legislation suggests there is no legal process to start or complete a petition. So with no clear pathway, and there's no guaranteed timelines to complete our petition within, there's no defined government process. Once signature guidelines are met, Saskatchewan referendum process is effectively impossible, despite appearing to exist on paper. So, they can, like the politicians can spew their ideals and that, we have this in place. When you dig into it and the lawyers look at it, it's like, no, it's not in place. We don't have the framework to deal with yet.
It's in existence. It doesn't exist. End of the story, really. Right.
And could you at least like collect signatures? Like, for example, APP, what they've done is that they know that collecting signatures on like knocking on the doors is going to be very difficult to do given the amount of signatures that will be required to trigger a referendum. So what the guys from APP were doing, and are still doing to this day, sort of, is that they have a list within Nation Builder. They have the list of people who are willing to vote yes on a referendum, leaving Alberta from Canada, become its own state. By the way, state doesn't mean 51st state. It's just a definition of the Declarative Act, which specifies that state meaning a different nation. Okay, because that's the actual definition from the Declarative Act for the haters. Yeah, but you have to tell those people that, right? Because what's happening here in Alberta is that the unions are spinning the narrative that we want to become the 51st state, which is definitely something that the United States administration doesn't even want. Or we'll on top on that as well too. But what I mentioned is that there's no actual legal framework right now. But can you at least right now still collect the names who are gonna pledge to vote yes in a referendum to gain some time?
In a way, that's I believe that's what the Unified Grassroots is doing, and it was hard to depict off the website. I don't believe the wording was very clear, but they were in the process of collecting names for people that were willing to sign a non-binding plebiscite. Okay, now a non-binding plebiscite. The government could take that, look at it, read it, and say, thank you very much, but they don't have to act on it because it's non-binding. And so what we're looking at is we want to make sure that the proper tools are in place for the Saskatchewan citizens to use, so a binding referendum. And we have to go through the motions to get that in place first. Now, the pathway forward to that, I mean, it could include a variety of tools to put pressure on the government. I mean, we could be looking at putting pressure on our MLAs. There's a variety of ways that we can do this, but we are right now. There are some tools that we're digging into that it's very very intricate, and we got to talk to lawyers about it and really make sure. See, that's the thing with what we're doing is, we don't want to rush through this. Mm-hmm. We want to make sure we get it done and do it right the first time.
Oh yeah, and it's in Alberta. We have the same. It's actually the same thing. Yeah. We only got one chance to do this, and that's going to be today, and that's going to be methodically and properly planned.
See, regardless of what pathway we end up having to take legally, one thing we know for sure is that we're going to need those signatures, and we're going to need that body of people and that vast majority to be ready to go and online. So that's why we're really focusing on getting that part done for Prairie Rising, so that when they do get to that point, we have the numbers and we have the people there, the more better. So I mean, that's the first thing, is we got to build that base, and that also allows Prairie Rising time to be able to seek out those methods of how we can achieve this. And once we have the numbers too, I mean, there's lots of more opportunities for us to do other things besides, like we can do that call out to the MLAs to get into the legislature and pass the legislation that we need.
Yeah, and you know what? Yesterday I was in a meeting with some volunteers from the Alberta Prosperity Project here in Edmonton, and and we were talking about the referendum and the votes and the collection and the training and that sort of thing. I can't talk too much about it, but this is how much I can actually tell you about it. But we are in Alberta already starting to put out the teams right now to trigger the referendum and the collecting the actual votes from Elections Alberta. So it's going to be very interesting to see. I'm going to change a little subject here. I'm going to move away from the legal stuff here, but definitely it's going to be something that we're going to have to, that's going to change over time. The other topic topic is demessaging. We've seen how the NDP is responding. It's spoiler alert, they don't like independence. I don't need to tell you that they don't like this stuff. But how is demessaging being received during those town hall meetings that you're doing? Because you've been going to a lot of town hall meetings and you have more to come as well.
Well, I've been really happy with the people that have come out. The comments of the people attending is they've been waiting for something to happen, somebody to step up and get this rolling. There's a lot of discontent in Saskatchewan, far more than I actually first realized. And after a meeting, people walk in kind of seeming concerned and very serious and stressed. And then after the meeting, we've given them the path forward and the things that need to be done, some education on it. And they seem to walk out with a much better spirit. And now I think we're bringing people hope, because a lot of people realize that we need to get to a very different situation here in Saskatchewan. Troy, what would you add to that? Because you were with me for some of those.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. The 3 I've done with you, people left with smiles on their faces and hope. And and it's important to share that information. We need younger people to get up and attend these town halls, and it's been positive. I haven't seen any negative comments at any of the town halls that I've done with Brad, and I've done 3 with him. It's good.
Yeah, the only thing I would like to see a lot more of is I'd love to have our First Nations people come out, because they've been taken advantage of by the Crown in Ottawa for more than 120 years, and the Indian Act, and there's so many grievances that they have. They never seem to ever get a fair deal, and they're often very disrespected by the Crown, except for when they want votes. They have the common enemy as we do. We're not against the treaties at all. Like, the treaties have nothing to do. Like, that's not our decision. That's up to the First Nations to work with the Crown or the Ottawa, or even with the province if we do decide to become independent. I mean, that's something they got full ability to work on a whole new deal if they want and change it to something that they want.
Absolutely.
So I think this is a really golden opportunity for them, and I'm really hoping that they'll come out and tell us what it is they'd like that to look like, because they can keep it exactly the same and they can change it any way that they want. But we need to hear their voice, because we want to walk right along right beside them. This is good change for everybody if we want to make it that way.
And generally speaking, in regards to the First Nations, because we have the same problem here in Alberta, and I know that some of my viewers here, I don't know if he's here on the live stream or not, many of the viewers here are Métis, and we have the same issue is that we've seen a lot of corruption with those reserves. Basically, there's a lot of people there, because we have town hall meetings in Edmonton and Calgary, Red Deer, and once in a while we see someone from First Nations, and they actually said in private that they will agree for an independence vote. They just can't talk publicly about it because of fear of repression from the reserve chiefs, basically, who are rumored to be largely paid by the federal government to basically shut up and take a hike, which is kind of disappointing.
I mean, you can't paint all the chiefs with the same brush. I mean, I'm sure that there's corruption in those, just as there is with any political structure. But it's one of those things where we do have people that get really upset and attack us right away, for comments that's made by somebody random online, might be visiting our page to make a comment. Well, that's not us. That's not us making that comment. That's just somebody doesn't know what they're talking about. We have no desire to go after anybody's land, and whatever payments and whatever financial arrangements they have with Ottawa and the Crown, that will not change. If they want, they can improve it. There's room for improvement here. There's no downside to this. If they want to make this a forward step, they could really build a really good future for their people. So,
absolutely.
we really want them to come out and start talking with us, and let's get going in the same direction, unite, and let's get this where we're all of us can get out from underneath the crown and the Ottawa bootstrap on our necks all the time.
Yeah, and in general, the reception in First Nations is very positive. It's just that it's not visible. But I see once in a while some First Nation people in town hall meetings. It's very common to see that. It's just that they're not that much because they fear persecution within their own groups. But in general, it's very, very well perceived, given that, and even when so bad was, if you follow Corey Morgan from the Western Standard, he was basically sued by a reserve because he was filming the abject poverty in those reserves to the point where he is no longer allowed to get into those reserves. And I don't know what happened with that, but essentially he was sued by the First Nations because he dared to go with the cell phone in his truck and filming the whole thing. So but it's going to be beneficial for First Nations to get into the independence state far more than young people and us, basically. Well, younger too, but because they've been abused by the Canadian system by a long shot, more than we ever had. Those guys, they live in absolute poverty, and it's abysmal to see, actually. So it's good that you have. And this is the messaging aspect. We need to bring positivity into those town hall meetings. That all the way I see things, and we have the same here in Alberta, is that we trying to show what's actually going on. These are the problems that are happening here. Yada 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 yada. And the way to resolve this is by becoming independent. So that's going to be the messaging here. It's good to see that as well too. I know that you guys have multiple events going on. We're going to talk on that later. But essentially have events in Regina, Estevan, something like that.
Yep.
Weyburn, Moose Jaw's going to be figured out hopefully tomorrow. Mooseman is coming up, and Brad, you got some by Yorkton, I believe so, right?
I have them all over the province.
Yeah.
When we're looking at trying to do about 60 to 100 in the month of January. We want to hit every small community that we can possibly hit, and I've got the people that are lining up ready to go and start doing the presentation. It's just a matter of getting them the information, make sure that they can answer the questions, they have the knowledge, and we're gonna hit this whole province as hard as we can, because we need to get caught up to Alberta.
Absolutely. In totally understandable. By the way, I share on the Freedom Calendar's site. I share the events for Regina, Weyburn, and Estevan as well on the website. I just don't have the actual locations, only for Estevan. No, only for Weyburn.
Yeah.
But all the other events are going to come eventually.
Yeah, what I've been doing is I've been we have the cities up there, the communities we're going to be holding the events in, and then as we get closer to that event, like a couple of weeks beforehand, I release all the information. So the address, the time it starts, and other relevant information. So like right now we have the one out for Weyburn. It's going to be held at just trying to get it off the top of my head here, McKenna Auditorium, and that'll be starting about 2:00 in the afternoon.
Interesting. And when exactly can you find the information about those events in particular? Who's managing that?
Well, Prairie Rising is setting up the ones for Weyburn, Regina, Estevan, Mooseman, and Moose Jaw, and there'll be a few more. And I know that SPP has got a whole list of, like, they've been so gung-ho and getting all these. I just can't keep track. I can't keep up to them.
I can't keep up either. On January 10th, in between Weyburn and Regina, I know for sure we're in the Wynyard area. We've got a couple town halls down there in the afternoon on, I think it's Saturday or Sunday. But I mean, I've got the ball, Shaunavon, Carlisle, all over the province, like east, north, south, west. It's everywhere. I've got so many things I have to book and get organized here in the next week. It's going to be crazy, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
And by the way, this is from the freedomcanada.net website, by the way. So I put all the events in there, and I put some events. Well, in here I have the section for the independence stuff for both Alberta and Saskatchewan. So this is the event in Wyburn, right? So this is where the event's going to be. And we also have just waiting the addresses for the events in other cities as well too. So what I'm going to do, at least from my side, is I'm gonna share the events, and I'm just gonna dump them into my Freedom Canada website so people can actually see them as well. Because essentially, I got people from other provinces, especially Alberta, who are essentially living, let's say, like in Kindersley. I think you are doing one of those events in Kindersley. I got some people watching who are living in Lloydminster as well too. A lot, some audience members in Lloyd as well too. So I know that there are some people who are in between Alberta and Saskatchewan who are watching everything what's happening in Saskatchewan. So they might have some share events going on. You mentioned that you are doing something in Regina, something in Estevan. Have you thought about doing something like, let's say, Lloydminster, or something that affects close to the Alberta border?
I want to possibly set up a joint one between APP and SPP and Prairie Rising and Lloyd. Would probably make it a little bit larger event and a little bit longer, and maybe bring some extra speakers in. That's just a thought at this point, because when we were looking at setting that up, all of a sudden you've had all the things that have developed with the referendum question in Alberta. So that's changed the whole playing field there. And I know the guys are really busy right now trying to get organized and get rolling on getting those signatures and getting everything submitted. So I don't know what their availability will be like. I'll have to get a hold of Dennis and Mitch in the next couple of days here and just tell them what our ideas are and see if we can work something out. We'd love to have them, but they may be busy for the next little bit.
Oh yeah, totally. And I know that they're doing a large event in Calgary. It's rumored to be on January 26th. Looking forward to live stream that event from Calgary as well too. I can give you a pass after the live stream. I can pass you some contact information that will help you planning things ahead if you want to, Brad, as well too. So that's going to be the event section there. So you have some events popping everywhere in Saskatchewan. Is going to be good to see. Another question that I have is about the band messaging perception. How is the messaging? How is the independence message flowing across media platforms like the mainstream, like CBC and all those guys, and the alternative media as well too?
Well, the CBC did a report and basically explain what we're doing. Some of their information that they had from the professor from Fraser Institute isn't quite accurate, because he talked about a plebiscite, which actually that pathway does not exist. But yeah, the independent media, of course, has been much more supportive. Done quite a few podcasts already, and John Bolton, Sean Newman, that was on with Kansas Drysdale from Manitoba Strong, Rebel News on one. There'll be some more coming up. Quite a few scheduled yet here, and more to come for sure. And I have Prairie Rising. I think you've done some in the past too, have you not?
Yeah, well, we had at the forum, CTV did an interview with us, and actually was quite pleased. They were quite fair on their reporting.
Yeah, that was our experience with CBC as well. With ours, I was pleasantly surprised that and the reporter did an excellent job. She really presented it very well, I thought.
Yeah,
that was after the event in Regina, isn't it?
Well, it was CTV in Regina, and then we had CBC just a week ago in Saskatchewan here at our event, town hall.
That is from the event in Saskatchewan, I believe, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, and that's what I've seen. I've seen the clips from CBC about that as well. From CBC as well. I've seen some clips from them as well too.
It was nice that Moose on the Loose picked up and then had the podcast too. He's got a lot of information on Kearney and Brookfield and his whole conglomerate, where all the money's going, all the deals that are done in Saskatchewan or in Canada, including the one from Saskatchewan, the Westinghouse deal. That's also a Brookfield contract that Kearney benefits from. He's an amazing follow.
But don't you realize we're in the dominion of Brookfield, isn't it? It's not in dominion of Canada, it's dominion of Brookfield, as people call it here.
Yeah. Sure feels like.
Absolutely. So we talk about strategy, how you're going to we partially touch on how you're going to propagate the message in the future. You mentioned that you wanted to train people on the ground to sort of relay the message, so other people can do their own town hall meetings and stuff. What is specifically are the challenges to do something like this, aside the demographics, the planning? What is that roadblock to organize town halls like this?
Not really any no roadblocks. It's just a matter of finding people in the community that can seek out the locations for you and book them, and get the posters out and do the little bit of word of mouth advertising, because that's how we've been running so far. I mean, we'll get a little more aggressive as we get more time under our belts and get a little bit more experience. But yeah, the people have been awesome stepping up. And as far as the people speaking, as long as they understand the answers to the questions, and a lot of people do, they understand that what happens to CPP, is it going to affect my CPP? They can answer that. So it's just a matter of giving them the slides, and then, as you already said, with the people in Alberta, eventually they're gonna have their own message. They're gonna tweak and change it, and it's going to be suited to them, and that's okay, as long as we get the majority of the content out there and people have the answers that they're looking for. That's what we're wanting to do. We're an educational piece. That's we're not partisan. We're just strictly there to provide the education, the information. So when it comes time that if there's a vote, that the people can make that decision for themselves and know whether this is something they want or something they don't want. And it's up to the people of Saskatchewan to decide. It's not up to SPP or Prairie Rising. It's up to the people. The people will decide this in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also just on a fair note, if you're on a Christmas party, because now it's the time for Christmas, it's no better time to talk about Alberta or Saskatchewan independence. I said Alberta's independence, but because I'm in Edmonton, I guess. About Saskatchewan independence, that's going to be a good time to talk about that as well too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the thing, Max. People have to, whether they're in Alberta or Saskatchewan, you have to have those conversations with people. Ask them, if we were an independent country tomorrow, what do you think that would look like? Because I can honestly tell you, I never thought about it myself here in Saskatchewan until the last maybe half year, a year, where I really actually, asked myself, what would that look like? I asked myself, what is the benefit of us staying within Confederation? Took 2 pieces of paper. I had one with benefit of being in Canada and the benefit of being our own country. And I still to this day have nothing on the side of staying in Canada. Actually, I didn't realize. I never thought about it.
Actually, that's funny, because we have here in Alberta a very predominant figure on the staying in Canada side of things. His name is Thomas Lukasik, also known as Fabio. He was essentially invited by Kit Wilson for a debate, like a one-on-one debate. Say, hey, want to talk about independence? Want to talk about staying in Canada? Let's debate. And Ray Jasperson, I think that's his name, in Edmonton, he was game to do the debate with Thomas Lukasik and Kit Wilson. Guess what happened? Thomas is basically hiding in the bushes, not doing anything to promote his as to why Canada needs to, as to why Alberta needs to stay in Canada. So that's a very funny dynamic,
There really is no like legitimate real reason. There's nothing that we're not doing today inside Saskatchewan as Saskatchewan people that we can not do tomorrow in Saskatchewan being our own country. We have zero benefit of being part of Canada. Like they're benefiting from all of our equalization payments. But I mean, all they're doing is they're restricting everything. And they're telling us, they're trying to take away our guns. They're trying to control our speech now. They're trying to force stuff into classrooms. There's just a lot of things that they're doing that doesn't fit with the values of the people out west here. We're not the same as the people in Ontario or Toronto area. We don't even share the same values. We're very different out here in the west. We have our own culture, just like Alberta and Manitoba. Even parts of BC. We're not like the East at all, and that's part of the problem. I see the comments on our Facebook pages, or even on APP's Facebook pages, and it's people from Ontario getting their nose in there and making their negative comments. Well, that you just demonstrate the whole problem. You're in the East and you never hear us. We're telling you there's an issue and we're not happy. We're never heard, but yet you're doing the same thing when you come and make your dumb comments on our pages. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, and you know what? Some I don't know if that's from Ontario or not, but in here we have the same problem. We have in larger venues like the one in Edmonton and Calgary, we had people like we don't have too many people distracting the meetings that much, but a while ago there was a provincial project called Alberta Next panel from here in Alberta,
right,
trying to give solutions, or was like essentially Daniel Smith trying to propose this idea of Alberta staying in Canada, type of fair deal or type of thing. And during the large town hall meetings in the cities, the left was absolutely raging. Like they're saying, vote for this guy, vote for communists, literally saying that, which is kind of insane. Let's going to change the subject a little bit. I know that this is not probably something that's done right now or it's in the works, given that from the legal perspective you guys are in. In Alberta, here in Alberta, we have the guys from APP are trying to do they spoke with U.S. officials, and I think they were right now this week with meeting with the Trump U.S. administration over there. The shadow they have is that they want to keep Alberta as a separate country. They're not seeking to receive Alberta as the 51st state for the haters and for the trolls. They want to have their own. The U.S. administration wants to see Alberta as its own country. Have you ever considered or done any talks that were done with either the U.S. administration or other countries to perhaps recognize Saskatchewan as its own entity?
Well, for Prairie Rising, the immediate priority is establishing a legal framework to enable a legitimate citizen-initiated petition process. So current laws make it impossible for us to do that. And we have identified the barriers and that the government is failing to address it. Excuse me. So to achieve a legal pathway to us is the first step before any meaningful discussion of autonomy greater provincial control or independence. I mean, we've got to get those hurdles out of the way so the people can actually have a voice on where Saskatchewan's going to go.
And it's kind of like you're putting the cart before the horse in our case, because we're just starting. It's literally been 5 weeks. So once we have our movement much bigger and we're getting closer to that point where we can do things, I would suspect that our two groups will reach out and maybe have to go down and have a meeting like Alberta has, and let them know what our intentions are, and we of course would love to work with them and have that free trade with them as well, because we have a lot of resources they want and they need. And to us, that's our allies, that's our best partners, and of all the other countries in the world, that's who we're closest to. So it only makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. And so you're essentially starting from the ground up as well, too. Just or you're essentially trying to get the ball up and running as well, too. You mentioned that you wanted to become Alberta. What you're trying to propose is for Saskatchewan, sorry, Saskatchewan to become its own nation. Basically, that's what we're aiming for. You don't want to be the 51st state or 52nd state or whatever. You want to basically leave the Canadian Confederation by becoming your own country. Is that right?
I don't think that's up to us to decide. That's up to the majority of Saskatchewan. We're looking towards independence. We know the system the way it is now is not working. And First Nations see that too. They've been struggling all along. Well, you're fighting the federal government of Canada. So are we. So that the way it is right now, we know it doesn't work. So we're looking towards independence. Now, what that independence includes, whether it is a better deal for Saskatchewan through the Canadian government, or whether it means that we're going to go for as a separate nation, that decision is what all of Saskatchewanians have to decide.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember when I was getting to the APP train back in 2022, they were evaluating like multiple independence models. One is to become an independent country. One is to become a 51st state. One is to stay in Canada, but with greater control of the immigration process, natural resources, that sort of thing. So I think that discussion will have to be played on as you move forward, perhaps in your future town hall meetings as well, too. No, that's good. Future.
I'll just add to that, Max. When it comes to that whole thing of being your own, having autonomy like Quebec does, I think at one time that was something that personally I thought would be the way to go. Before I actually stopped and thought about whether it's what the benefit is of actually being our own country. So if we almost have full autonomy from Canada, why would we want to stay inside it? If we're already got that much autonomy, we might as well be on our own, because there's again going to be no benefit to that. Just to say that, oh, I'm part of Canada. Canada will always be in our hearts, and if we're Saskatchewan people or Albertans first, that's who we are first. We're not Canadians first. Most of us, we're very proud of our provinces, and I mean that love of Canada will always be there. It's just that we're going to have Saskatchewan on the door instead of Canada on the door when it comes to country name. That's the only change.
I see.
100%.
I understand. Another question. Well, basically, future events would touch base on that future outcome for Saskatchewan. I think it's going to be for the people in Saskatchewan to decide. One of the questions that I see on the chat here, do you have any contact information as to if they want to volunteer, organize town hall meetings, that sort of thing? How does it work?
They can reach out to Prairie Rising, or they can reach out to Saskatchewan Prosperity Project. Prairie Rising does have their website, and it's been up and running for quite a while. Ours, we're moving to a new server, and we're going to be doing a complete redesign and adding Nation Builder. Yeah. So we'll be adding, our events and everything, as well as like any events that we do will be done with Prairie Rising. You'll find everything on both of our sites. As far as volunteering, you can reach out to either one of our groups, and we'll make sure that we get you set up with whoever it is that what fits your skill set. We need a lot of volunteers. We're gonna need, just like Alberta, we're gonna need eventually a whole ton of people that are gonna be able to go out and get those signatures from the people that have signed up, because there will come a point where we'll need to actually probably collect them and get them physically. So that's the biggest need that we have. But I mean, town halls, call us. You want to do one in our area, help us set one up, help us find a place and location, and we'll show up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I know that what I can tell and what I can see is that the independence train in Saskatchewan is going up. It's just in the embryonic phase, which is kind of cool to see. You had the same problem that I had about probably 3-4 years ago, which is kind of cool to see.
Just a quick note. I know you flashed the screen there, but for the people out there, just remember our website for the Prairie Rising. It's just prairierisingforum.ca. You go to that, you'll find links to everything else. You'll be able to email. You'll find links to our Facebook page, YouTube, our X account. You can choose to sign up. Just go to the sign up page. You can sign up there. Just remember the website.
Yeah, I'm just gonna show the link just real quick here. So I want to show the link from Dave's screen here, so you can people take a look at this. I know that I muted everyone. Probably they're not muted, just not showing up. So I'm gonna share the website as well. So it's prairierising.ca for
prairierisingforum.ca.
Okay, I'm going right now on my computer here.
Now on there, you'll find a lot of information about the forum, the main page and the second page talk about that. But on the third page, I believe, is the sign up sheet where you can sign up your information. And if you're worried about privacy, we also have our privacy statement and how we handle your information, and that's on the last page. And just to let everybody know too, when you go to our town hall meetings and you sign the attendance sheet, we will be adding you to the list, and you'll get an email, maybe a newsletter or something from us. You always have the option. If you don't like it, you hit unsubscribe, and we won't bother you anymore online. So just so you know, your information is safe, and you always have the option to opt out.
And just so everyone knows too, the two groups we're going to share all our information, so we have it, both of them, like at our town halls. When you sign up there, we're in it together, so we are sharing all the information between, so when it is time to call, we all have it and we know where to go and get things done.
Yeah, that's going to be fantastic as well too. Looking
and with our when our web page is also easy to find. It's just SK, short for Saskatchewan, prosperityproject.ca. I don't have all of the links at the moment, but we do have like an X account, Discord. We have the Facebook page, Saskatchewan Prosperity Project. There's a group page, which is kind of just for event and announcements, which is Saskatchewan Prosperity Project now. But all the links will be on our website, including one that wraps you back to Prairie Rising, so you'll be able to interact between the two websites and find out what's going on both aspects.
Yeah, I'm gonna share the screen for a second. I'm gonna share the website here.
Our email accounts actually just got set up, so I think it's info@skprosperityproject.ca is going to be the new one.
Okay, so this is a website here.
That's the old one, yeah. That's going to be replaced right away.
Okay, so sounds good.
So at the bottom there, it has a Gmail account. That one's going to be closed because we actually have our own server and domain now. We're just waiting for the back end coding, computer coding to be done up, and then our new website will be popping up, and we'll be building that fast. We have a creation team just waiting for this to get online so we can start adding our information to it.
More information to come. I'm gonna watch that website on my. I'm gonna add
Brad,
that website to
that technology, Brad. It's a godsend, but it's also going to be the death of us.
Well, if I knew how to do it, I would have done that myself. But that's all above my pay grade. That's for guys like you, Dave.
Myself, probably. I don't know. Yeah. So I want to see if we can get some question and answers from the audience here. I want to see if we can put some questions here. That's on the chat. Most of them are essentially, well, we answer the question, where should we go to the signatures and that sort of thing. I'm going to see if you have any questions, put it on the comment section. I'm going to try to answer those questions. I want to see if there are any. Oh, I got some people from First Saskatchewan watching. That's awesome. People from Edson. Yeah, that's another question I have here. Are you already collecting names in Saskatchewan? Names for what exactly? I don't know. But I think we touched base on that. as well.
Yeah,
too.
when you sign up, you're basically letting us know who you are and how we can get a hold of you. When we need the names, we will reach out to you. So just like Prairie Rising, we have an unsubscribe that is in any of our email contacts. So anytime you want any more further contact, we can easily accommodate that. Just unsubscribe, and you won't get any more newsletters. But yeah, the whole sign up sheet is for people who want to volunteer and those who don't want to volunteer but want to sign the petition or whatever it is that we need down the road, like to get the referendum to a vote. That's what the purpose of it is.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and it's very important to see the work moving forward as well. Um, I don't see any questions going on the live stream right now, but I just want to touch base on the fact that for the social media aspect of things, because I know you guys are basically studying up basically from scratch, basically from scratch from the media perspective. Like you're building a website, you're building eventually. You guys, you're very active on Facebook, from my understanding.
Mhm.
That's where base operation is right now. Okay, sounds good. I would like to. I think that's what I have for today. So, any closing remarks you want to add? Want to touch base on?
I think we covered pretty much all the things. Anybody in Alberta, if you have Saskatchewan friends or family, let them know about us. Have them sign up and join in. And of course, anybody that's in Saskatchewan in our group, somebody in Alberta, make sure you reach out to them too, because it'd be great to see the two provinces leave around the same time and join up as one country. I think we'd be quite the powerhouse. Our brothers over there in Alberta are still our favorites of all.
Absolutely.
I like to say I can't stress enough. We need to interact with younger people.
Yes,
we really need that. It's their future.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And also one thing is that as I'm getting the information from those events in Saskatchewan, I'm obviously going to post on the Freedom Calendar .net website as well too. So as soon as I get the information, I'm going to bombard and put it on the website. I usually update the events website for freedomcalendar.net, the website. I usually post that on Thursday and Sunday. Back in the days, I was doing every day, but now I'm getting to the point I need some scheduling. So that's going to be on Thursday and Sunday. That's going to push events. So looking forward to push some events. If you know family who are in Saskatchewan, Alberta, vice versa, trying to convince them to come to the events from SPP. I'm very eager to see any kind of cooperation, at least from the events perspective, to do something like a APP/SPP event. That would be fantastic to see. So I would like to thank you everyone here on the live stream for tuning up. I want to thank you everyone here from the SPP team and from the Prairie Rising team for dedicating your time, and because I know that's been pretty hectic the last couple of weeks. Especially, I wanted to do this meeting for about a month, so it was very good to have everybody online and say, let's get a shot at this, and let's ensure that we'll do another towns meeting at those virtual meetings as well over time. See if everything's going on, because I know that the independent stuff is definitely something that's catching everyone's attention. So I'd like to do this.
One thing I'd like to add, Max, just to Troy's comment about the younger people at 20 to 35 year range. We know you don't like to come out to town halls and listen to an old guy like me. I don't wear a suit, but talk about stuff like this. And you don't want to be political or whatever. But I also have talked to a lot of you who are wanting something to be better. You're wanting to be able to have a future. You want to be able to buy that house. You want to be able to have that family. I grew up, that was just a given. You were going to have that, and we could still have that now, but we need you to step up and be a voice too. I'm very actually surprised, because I know you are all very educated, you're very intelligent, but yet you stay silent on this issue. This is something that you just need to use your voices. You'd be surprised at how many other people around you, your age, that are feeling exactly the same as you. You join up with us and we get rolling here. We can make sure that you get the future that your parents and your grandparents have. And we can restore that to your families. We can give you that hope, that prosperity for the future for your kids, because you deserve that. There's no excuse why we're in this situation in Saskatchewan. That's horrible. This country should be very well off, and we should have a lot of prosperity, and we should be able to have those opportunities for you. It's a shame that it's no longer there. We're going to get it back for you, and that's why we're doing this. We need you on board, though. So Troy's very right. We need you to come out.
Yeah, and on that note, I remember a while ago I was doing a recording / live stream from Breton. If Jason Levine watches, hi, or Michael Wagner watches, hi again. We were in Breton. That is about probably like 2 hours from Edmonton, just by Red Deer, Redron Valley area. And we're talking about just what you mentioned, the adoption of the youth. And obviously, they are not in those town hall meetings, but they're watching. They're watching folks like what we're doing. They're watching the Instagrams of this world. They're watching social media. That's the warfare right now. So if you don't see the folks on premises during those town hall meetings, just rest assured that if you see a political jackass like me over there, or somebody like me, it's probably have like 30 people behind him or her. So it's not because he's someone about my age is not here, that is not necessarily their own premises. It's just that they're raising their kids, they're working, most of them, and they're in college. The challenge that we have is mostly the universities, but there people on our generation, they're definitely on board with independence. Is this that what I'm starting to see, it's more polarized, meaning that they're either on board or they're not. While in here, like the Gen Xers population, we're starting to see more like they're more convinced of independence, primarily because of the NEP stuff. That's one the determinant factor, and also because that knowledge from the independence stuff, what happened in Alberta and Saskatchewan, from my understanding, has been passed through generations. But now the newer generation are learning / digesting all that knowledge in a very short period of time. But they're there. They're not necessarily showing up. But again, it's good to see the younger folks. Like when I go to a town hall meeting, I see basically, I don't know if that's in Saskatchewan that way. We're seeing people like in their 50s, 60s, and we see like the 40s and unders. We don't see too much the under 30 years old, although there are some people who are coming to the mix. They're not necessarily showing up to the meetings. They're just watching us online most of the time. So in that note, I would like to thank you for your time. It's been a very cool opportunity to meet you all, and looking forward to meet you again, and perhaps in a town hall meeting. Who knows? So looking forward to see you there.
Max.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Max. Anytime.
Brad, you too.
That was awesome. So
Troy,
thanks for coming, guys. I realized that Troy is the guy
Troy's been
who's
my partner and Stephanie at the town halls. We've had a lot of fun.
I almost get sick of hearing about it. They come back and that's all they talk about is town hall.
Okay, I'm gonna switch the lanes, guys.
Thanks,
guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.